Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this.
Liverpool transfer very advanced as decision made on swoop in January window. Liverpool's disastrous start to the Premier League campaign has sparked numerous questions about their summer transfer AC. The Reds invested significantly, overhauling their defensive line and attack with record-smashing signings including £125 million Alexander Isak and £116 million Florian Wirtz. But Arne Slot hasn't discovered a winning formula, with suggestions that additional reinforcements might be required to help turn around the team's fortunes after a horrendous run of form. Whether it involves bringing in a centre-half or facilitating some departures, Liverpool could be gearing up for an active January transfer window. With that in mind, here's a roundup of the latest Liverpool transfer news and speculation ahead of the winter market, courtesy of the Liverpool Echo. Liverpool make contact for YNWA. Liverpool have established very advanced contact with the representatives of RB Leipzig sensation YNWA. According to Sky Sports Switzerland, the 19-year-old has enjoyed a meteoric rise in European football, only becoming a professional when he initially joined Legends on a free transfer in January this year. His summer switch to Leipzig has seen him make an immediate impact, netting for goals and providing for assists across all competitions in Germany. Liverpool are said to rate the Ivorian international as a potential solution to help reconstruct their attacking options, though they aren't the sole Premier League club to have made inquiries about a possible transfer. The report also suggests Tottenham have expressed interest, although formal negotiations between Leipzig and any potential suitors have yet to commence. Liverpool will be keeping a close eye on the centre-back market this January, as a shortage of options in that area has left them vulnerable. The Reds have been linked with several players, including Borussia Dortmund's Nico Schlotterbeck, whose contract runs until 2027, presenting a potentially valuable opportunity. However, Bild reports the German defender is not currently a priority for Liverpool, who have decided against submitting a bid for now. It remains unclear who might be prioritized in defense, but previous interest in Marc Guéhi, whose contract expires in 2026, makes him a likely contender for the role. If other options fail to materialize, then Schlotterbeck could well reappear on Liverpool's radar. Mohamed Salah has once again been linked with a move to Saudi Arabia, as speculation about the Liverpool star's future has intensified in recent weeks. The winger signed a new deal back in April, which secures his stay at the club until 2027, following another standout season at Anfield. However, after a challenging start to the current campaign and Salah's recent omission from the Liverpool squad, rumors of a possible departure have resurfaced. As reported by The Telegraph, the Saudi Pro League could potentially finance a move for the 33-year-old, should he choose to leave his current club. This is possible even after recent reductions in spending, following significant expenditure in previous seasons. There's a belief that there might still be sufficient funds to lure Salah to the league. I know Liverpool like these for players. I'm confident one won't be joining them. Liverpool continue to be linked with potential attacking reinforcements for the January transfer window. As 4 players have emerged on a short list ahead of the market reopening, with the January transfer window round the corner. Liverpool are lining up some potential deals that could see them rediscover their previous form. Under Arne Slot, it comes after a summer of change, which brought about plenty of high-profile signings, but at quite the cost. Not only was it expensive in terms of fees paid, but it has also proven costly in seemingly disrupting the balance within the team. While the defense could be one focus for the recruitment team, given how exposed the backline has been, there continue to be links with forwards in the market. The new-look Liverpool forward line hasn't quite clicked yet, with links to potential rivals in the wide areas pointing towards some activity there in the winter market. Antoine Semenyo has been one player linked with the Reds, with the £65 million release clause in his deal opening up an opportunity to wrap up a quick deal. However, it appears as though there are 4 other names on the short list that Liverpool are looking at, which could help improve their forward ranks even more. According to Bild, the club are eyeing the likes of Michael Olise, Kenan Yildiz, Rodrigo, and Iliman Ndiaye as potential options over the next few weeks. Journalist Tobias Al-Chafel said, On Liverpool's shortlist, Michael Olise is on this backup list, along with three other names: Kenan Yildiz from Juventus, Rodrigo from Real Madrid, and Iliman Ndiaye from Everton. Bayern are very confident that Olise won't leave. Why would they let him go? But it's understandable that Liverpool are interested in him. It certainly shows the type of market that Liverpool are looking to shop in, with players who can make an instant impact, but also have the peak of their careers still way ahead of them. Olise made quite the impression in the Premier League during his time at Crystal Palace and continues to shine since making the move to Bayern Munich, with 29 goals and 34 assists in 76 appearances for the club. While a move for him seems unlikely for Liverpool, the other three on the short list could be slightly more feasible if the right offer is on the table. Iliman Ndiaye has shown plenty of flair since joining Everton, and while he could be a top option, the fact that he plays for the Toffees makes it an unlikely deal to occur. The last player to directly move between the two clubs came back in 2002. Real Madrid's Rodrigo has been linked with an exit from the club over the past few months, as question marks remain over exactly how much game time he could receive in a forward line that contains Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. in his favored positions. The cost of such a deal is unknown, and may be tough to go through within the January window in particular. However, as for Kenan Yildiz, the 20-year-old has become a regular at Juventus and with plenty of goals and assists to his name. He is certainly one for the future. It remains to be seen whether any of those four will be targeted in greater detail come January, though. With Liverpool in need of a fresh spark, Asteriska has got to. Adam Wharton's agent makes major future plan claim amid Liverpool transfer links. The Crystal Palace midfielder has been linked with a move to Liverpool in the future. The agent of Adam Wharton has insisted that his client has ambitions of playing in the Champions League in his career. Wharton has made magnificent progress since he joined Crystal Palace from Blackburn Rovers almost 2 years ago. Wharton has developed into one of the best holding midfielders in the Premier League and helped Palace win the FA Cup for the first time in the club's history last season. He has also been capped 3 times by the England senior team and is in the reckoning to be part of Thomas Tuchel's 2026 World Cup squad. It is no surprise that Wharton has been linked with a swath of clubs. Liverpool are one outfit credited with interest, as well as Manchester United, Manchester City and Real Madrid among others. The 21-year-old's agent, James Featherstone, spoke to TalkSport where he discussed Wharton's hurtling rise and plans for the future. But Featherstone insists that there is no timeframe being placed on when Wharton's next potential move could happen. What's been said, Featherstone said, Adam hadn't made his debut for Blackburn. There were question marks about his physicality, his physical output, input or both. We sat down, like you would with a lot of young players who have got the talent or potential, and spoke about shooting for the stars. Let's play for England. Personally, to play for England, you have to play Champions League and you have got to play in one of the top teams in the top leagues. He was at Blackburn Rovers at the time. He hadn't made a first-team start for Blackburn Rovers. The easiest path would have been to get into Blackburn's team and then get promoted to the Premier League. Because I think that pathway at a young age, you can get lost. At the time, Blackburn were around the playoffs for a couple of seasons and next season you thought they're going to go that bit further. They unfortunately ended up being at the other end of the league and that ultimately was the move to Crystal Palace. There were a lot of options. I absolutely knew Palace was the right environment. Not just the club but the dressing room. We had players in the dressing room who understood the culture and environment. I felt it would be the perfect step for him in terms of playing Premier League football. It is 2 years next month. In terms of what has happened, I've got to be honest. It wasn't really part of the plan winning the FA Cup, playing for England, and so on. Those are the bits on top you take and run with. We have got a plan. He is 21. I have to check myself to remember that every now and then. We have got a plan. It doesn't have to be achieved yesterday, today, or this moment. He has got his in-game, in-season targets and goals. He has got to do his bit and the rest will look after itself in a very calm, structured way to maximize his ability. Ex-Premier League star back on Liverpool radar after transfer twist. Liverpool have had a change of heart in relation to one of their transfer targets as Arne Slot makes an apparent U-turn on a Europe. In star, the Red season is in danger. of flatlining after the champions dropped points again in midweek following their draw at home to Sunderland, leaving Slot's side in ninth place over a third of the way into the campaign, with Liverpool trailing Premier League leaders Arsenal by 11 points ahead of their trip to Leeds United. Their Dutch boss would be forgiven for mulling over big changes in the transfer market as the January window approaches. Most read on the Transfer Tavern. And according to a recent claim from Bild, it appears that there has been an element of indecision over who might be able to help save their season. Liverpool targeting former Crystal Palace star Michael Olise, While it has been reported that Liverpool have long been admirers of Bayern Munich winger Michael Olise, it seemed as though the links had gone cold, with Bild previously claiming that the Reds had backed away from pursuing the Frenchman. However, after a fresh twist, this may not be the case, with Bild's deputy football editor, Tobias Alchafel, hinting that Olise is indeed on the Reds' transfer radar after all. According to Alchafel, Olise may only be on a backup list at Anfield, but this U-turn could point to a lack of organization behind the scenes. A far cry from the laser-focused transfer policy Michael Edwards oversaw at the height of Jurgen Klopp's successes. On MERSEYSID. To add weight to this, there doesn't even seem to be a realistic chance of luring the ex-Crystal Palace ace to the club. Alchafel claimed as per Sport Witness, Michael Olise is on this backup list. Bayern are very confident that Olise won't leave. Why would they let him go? But it's understandable that Liverpool are interested in him. Alchafel's skepticism over a deal appears to be well-founded, with Bayern flying under Vincent Kompany this season in an almost faultless campaign to date. The Bavarians have won 11 out of 12 Bundesliga games and came unstuck against Arsenal in the Champions League in late November, their first defeat since July's Club World Cup campaign. Olise has been at the heart of their red-hot form, recording 20 goal involvements in 21 games, including 5 in their 6-2 demolition of Freiburg last month. Given Liverpool's indifferent form this term, it would be one hell of a sales pitch to get the 13-cap star on board. Liverpool face fresh Virgil van Dijk setback as rivals look to keep replacement with new deal. Liverpool's hopes of finding a long-term replacement for Virgil van Dijk have received a blow after Newcastle United's transfer guru Ross Wilson confirmed Sven Botman will be offered a new contract. Liverpool are in the market for a new centre-half amid the alarming decline of Van Dijk this season. They missed out on the signing of Mark Guéhi in the summer but have been linked with a move for Dutchman Botman, who has just 18 months left on his Newcastle contract. However, Newcastle are determined to hold on to their biggest assets and are preparing a fresh offer to Botman, who is also a target for Chelsea, and Tino Livramento, who is being eyed by Manchester City, having already tied down Sandro Tonali to an extended contract. Sporting director Ross Wilson revealed, "My first 3 or 4 days in the job was when I found that Sandro's contract situation was significantly better than the one I was expecting. My first days were about analyzing contracts. Where are we? Where are we strong? Where are we weak? Where have we got issues? It's no secret at all that we would want to extend Tino's contract. And we would want to extend Sven Botman's contract, too. Those discussions are ongoing. Some discussions are more difficult than others, but the desire would be to keep those players. Will they agree to those contracts at the moment? I think it's too early to say." Reports chronicle Live. As the January window looms, Wilson also touched on Newcastle's recruitment plans for 2026, but stated that no major decisions have been made internally yet as he waits to discuss with Eddie Howe what the Toon boss wants. The ex-Rangers boss added, "Basically, where we're at right now is that Eddie and I haven't spoken about what January looks like in terms of incomings. What we've talked about is what the thoughts are about the squad right now. Where's his head at? With the squad we've already got, how does that look? How does he feel about that? The shape, the size of it, individuals, that's what we've spoken about up to now. The scouting work is always ongoing. So, the guys are doing loads of work with that all the time." Newcastle forked out £250 million last summer following a string of Baron and PSR restricted transfer windows. However, despite their massive summer spending spree, there are no significant limitations heading into the upcoming transfer window. Yes, if we want to, we can. I think it's fairly obvious to everybody, given the level of club spend in the summer, that we're not going to do that again in the winter window as well, for a variety of reasons. But if we want to spend, we can, of course. We'll be creative, of course. We'll be opportunistic as well. But probably the most important thing is that it would have to align with what the summer plan looks like, which is the bigger squad plan. All of those conversations are ongoing. We'll have the ones about where Eddie sees the need in the squad, if at all. But for now, the conversations have been, what have we got? What do we think about what we've got? Where do we see this, then? Let's see how that fits into January and the next part of the conversation. Asterisk.
Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.